fights in the Naruto series are peak, and without a doubt, there's been no other character that has consistently given us god-tier fights more so than Sasuke Uchiha. But the question is, how does he do it? How does Sasuke captivate us in every single fight he's in? Today, we're going to break down several of his fights, spanning across the entire Naruto series, into Shippuden, and even in Boruto, and try and answer this burning question of why Sasuke has the best fights. Beginning in part 1, we have to talk about how Sasuke completely dominated the Chunin exams. He was an absolute monster, demolishing every single opponent he came across. So let's begin our breakdown with Sasuke vs Zaku. Sasuke's just obtained the power of the Cursed Seal of Heaven and is bloodlusted after the Sound Ninja just pummeled Sakura. And Sasuke goes off. He not only completely dodges Zaku's absolutely massive, extreme decapitating airwaves, but he does so while also carrying Naruto and Sakura out of harm's way as well. He then immediately counterattacks so quickly that Zaku couldn't even follow his movements, and delivers a backhand so fast that even Amazon couldn't have gotten it to Zaku any faster. Then we finally get to see a bit of Sasuke's genius. He knows that Zaku is going to rely on his air attacks, so he baits him with the Phoenix Flower technique and skillfully hides Shuriken inside of each fireball to catch Zaku off guard, and it completely works. He then takes this opportunity, moving as an after image, completely amped by the power of the Curse Seal, and performs what was the most brutal moment we had seen in the entire series, and breaks both of Zaku's arms. I don't know why Sasuke decided to disrespect Zaku so badly throughout this whole fight, but god damn. After Sasuke returned from his brief training arc with Kakashi, he gained so much aura in what had to be the sickest intros in the series. And while his fight with Gaara was short-lived due to Orochimaru's plot, we still do get to see the beginnings of what would manifest as the greatest user of lightning jutsu in the series, with Sasuke's debut of the Chidori, a technique he all but mastered in a single month's time. Finally, we move on to what has to be in the top 5 of most memorable, iconic fights in the series, and probably all of anime. Naruto vs Sasuke, Valley of End, Round 1. There's a certain emotional presence in this fight, a weight to it that only characters like Sasuke could possibly bring. To him, this fight means more than he's willing to admit. It's the first real step he's taking towards avenging his clan and achieving his dream of ending his brother's life. But it's much more than that because he's fighting Naruto, the first person he's grown fond of after losing everything in the most horrific way possible. And throughout this mythical battle, you feel through the exchange of blows the emotions that these two are trading, and it's just a masterpiece. This is the first place I'll say before we move on to Shippuden that Sasuke's fights have a significance and meaning to them that imparts tension and a sense of consequence, because he's not just fighting to get stronger or to protect his friends or just for the thrill of battle. Honestly, I don't even think Sasuke enjoys fighting that much, but the fact that he fights tooth and nail in every single encounter is solely due to how driven and motivated he is to persevere and see that Itachi meets his end. That's a unique concept in anime, and I think it does begin to inform us of why his fights have so much weight to them. But that's only just the beginning. Moving to Shippuden, I'd be remiss not to talk about one of his best fights, versus Deidara. I mean, this fight has everything. Aerial combat, subterfuge, genjutsu, and what I think is the most important factor here, everyone remembers, is how clever and resourceful Sasuke is in the battle. The way Sasuke fights here forces Deidara to perfectly measure the range of his Chidori, avoid succumbing to genjutsu, all while being assaulted by amped level 2 Curse Seal of Heaven. And Deidara manages fairly well, despite all that stacked up against him, creating that sense of tension where Sasuke isn't just mowing down his opponent, but is forced to come up with incredibly precise attack maneuvers, and even exploding the elemental jutsu weakness that Earth Style has to lightning. This moves us squarely into the next fight, and I'm just gonna pull the band-aid off. Sasuke vs Itachi. Oh my god, the best fight in the entire series. Don't talk to me about Naruto vs Pain, this is better. This is the culmination of everything Sasuke has ever done. The sacrifices he's made, the bonds he's broken to get to this moment, to stand in front of the singular person he once loved most, and now despises more than anything. The battle begins with several exchanges where Sasuke seems to catch Itachi off guard, but we already know that Itachi was just testing his younger brother and also trying to push Orochimaru out of his corner. In this encounter, Sasuke again utilizes a specialty of his and manipulates Shuriken as a rigged trap and forces Itachi on the back foot for the first time. And once we get to the roof, all hell breaks loose. Throughout this entire sequence, both Sasuke and Itachi are running out of chakra, but Sasuke finally reveals his trump card that he set up using the last of his chakra, Kirin. Oh man, what a moment. When this jutsu comes down from the sky and Sasuke says that legendary line, you know it has to be over. But as the dust settles, Itachi stands and unveils his Susanoo. Oh, and the final moment, the forehead tap, I mean, if this isn't bringing tears to your eyes in the most perfect wrap-up to a fight ever, I just don't know. The Kage Summit, to me, was a perfect way to introduce what each of the 5 Kage were capable of against an opponent we technically didn't wish to see defeated. I mean, what a masterpiece. They managed to fit in so many new techniques, Kekkei Genkai, and personalities, all through the lens of Sasuke's overconfidence. The Raikage blitzing Sasuke faster than the instantaneous Amaterasu, Gaara doing sand stuff, Mei utilizing 2 separate Kekkei Genkai. But let's be honest here, that's not really why we remember her. And of course, Onoki launching the series' first Kekkei Toda, Dust Release. I mean, come on. And while Sasuke absolutely lost this fight, what it accomplished could not have been done by any other character in a way that seems believable. Sasuke's on the warpath, coming straight for Danzo's head, and regardless of who's standing in his way, he was going to collect his justice, even if the 5 Kage were the opposition. I mean, you kind of have to respect that kind of rash willingness to dive into a situation where the odds are stacked against you, and Sasuke does this time and time again. So he finally catches up to Danzo, and the look on Sasuke's face at this point is terrifying. He's standing face to face with the man that forced his dear brother to become the man he hated most, and really was the cause for Sasuke killing Itachi. This is everything to Sasuke, and he shows no mercy. This sequence where Danzo is throwing these futon-enhanced shurikens, and Sasuke catches one with his sword and uses it to launch the second one into the air, only for his summon hawk to catch it and release it at the perfect time to land a devastating blow on Danzo, is so perfect. This is the series firing on all cylinders. But even the ending of the fight, where Sasuke has figured out the Izanagi and fooled Danzo into believing he had more Sharingan to utilize than he had by slipping him into the most subtle of genjutsu, is perfect. What makes Sasuke's fights feel so visceral is that his fighting style, tactics, and jutsu are all so signature and unique that he's irreplaceable in every encounter he's in, warping these fights around him. It's really remarkable. And then we jump to another absolute banger. Naruto vs Sasuke, Valley of the End Part 2, the show ender. To me, this battle is such a close contender for his best fight, if it weren't for Itachi. A final convergence of these 2 bonded friends at the place where it all began. I cannot put into words how much respect the animators and Kishimoto showed this fight, because it captures both the nostalgia of the first fight here, while also reimagining it and showing us what these characters are now capable of and how far they've grown. Looking into the fight a bit, I still can't believe how peak every single frame is. There's not a single moment in this fight where my immersion's broken and I'm just bored. It's undoubtedly the coolest looking fight in the series, and to date has not been matched in scale and hype. Hands down, chef's kiss. Finally, let's look at Boruto. And you couldn't convince me with a 3,000-page essay that his fight against Momoshiki isn't the best fight in Boruto. I'm a huge Momoshiki fanboy, but that plays no part in my opinion here. Sasuke alone carries this fight in a way that you might not have noticed. Not only does he flex his skills as the greatest swordsman in the entire series, but his aerial acrobatics and maneuvers are next level. Some of the stuff he does in this fight blows my mind, but this moment here where he's 1v1ing Momoshiki, throws his sword, which is actually Boruto, swaps places knowing that Momoshiki would predict that, and again, swaps his Chidori with a kunai, and neutralizing one of Momoshiki's Rinnegan is so perfect. I mean, wow. Say what you will about Sasuke, he's willing to do what it takes to achieve his goals, no matter the moral or emotional cost. And that feeling of self-sacrifice, determination, and moral destruction is felt through each of his beautiful fights. Pair that kind of emotional weight with a fighter who is tactical, precise, powerful, and overall just a pure genius, and you get the best fights in the entire Naruto series. So, to answer the question, that's why Sasuke has the best fights. Thanks for watching. If you could do the YouTube stuff, I'd appreciate it. My ex-wife took half my subs in the divorce. Peace.